James Naismith. Though he may not be a common household name, this man was an innovator, a leader, and the father of a legacy. The contributions he made would influence a culture, change the contemporary idea of the athlete, and create an iconic pastime enjoyed by millions of people worldwide. James Naismith invented basketball.
Dr. Naismith to me is, obviously he was a phenomenal man. He did a lot of great things for the game of basketball. Obviously he invented the game of basketball, but as a leader, I think he was a leader in recreation.
Born on November 6, 1861 in Ontario, Canada, the son of John and Margaret Naismith would become an orphan at age 9 when typhoid fever took the life of both his parents. The young Naismith would be left under the care of his uncle, a farmer, and would perform grueling tasks on the farm and in the surrounding woods. As a child, James excelled in athletics and sporting activities. Later, he would graduate top of his class at McGill University. Despite shining academic success, Naismith couldn't ignore his passion for sports. After college, Naismith would take a job that would allow him to pursue such interests.
The sport itself is it can be very individual. I can actually take myself, go outside, take a ball, take a basket, and play for hours alone.
It was 1891, and James Naismith was working as a physical education teacher at the Springfield, Massachusetts YMCA training school. During the long winter months, the boys were required to stay indoors. Without a physical sport to play, the boys often became rowdy and unruly. Naismith was asked to create a game that could be played in the limited space without being too rough. Naismith couldn't have imagined the impact this indoor sport would have on the world. On December 21st, 1891, Naismith divided up 2 groups of boys, went over his 13 rules, and basketball was born.
As the City of Beaumont's Parks and Recreation Director and a former head basketball coach, Naismith has brought together a game, and he was able to invent a game, but stress the importance of the game was so much not about coaching the game, making it a competitive game, but to be able to make it a recreational sport for everyone. When I sit back and think about the game of basketball, I think about not just young kids playing it, but watching the most elite player play a game, and you could say not a graceful way of doing that. In my job now, I can actually drive down the street and I can see an older brother and a younger brother sitting out shooting hoops together. As I pull into the parking lot and pull into the recreation center, I can walk into the gym and I can still see 60 and 70-year-old men still playing a game of horse, or playing a game of pig or something of that nature. Naismith invented the game of basketball for that reason. He didn't invent the game of basketball for the days of what, as a coach, we see that. We see the competitive nature of that. I would think that Naismith would be proud of some of the great coaches of the world that have brought it to where it is today, but I don't think that was those were his intentions.
After nailing 2 discarded peach baskets from the school cafeteria 10 feet high and making use of a spare soccer ball, Naismith laid out his 13 rules. It is believed Naismith drew up the rules of his new game in about 1 hour, and most of these rules still apply to the game today. Rules such as not being able to run with the ball, penalties against fouls and contact, and how scoring is to be tallied are still in use in modern basketball, and many other rules Naismith drew up are still present in slightly modified forms. Basketball soon became a very popular sport in both the United States and Canada. The game proved to be so popular that journalists were already writing about it less than a year after Naismith nailed up his basket. Some people wanted to call it Naismith ball in tribute to its inventor, but in typical James Naismith fashion, he humbly declined. Basketball was soon being played at the collegiate level, and the professional game was to follow with the founding of the American National Basketball Association. James Naismith lived to see basketball become an Olympic sport in 1936 and symbolically threw the opening tip as he saw his creation reach the worldwide stage. As basketball continued to grow in popularity in the United States throughout the 20th century, and with the advent of basketball superstars, the sport quickly grew into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Basketball was without a doubt becoming an integral part of American culture.
A Detroit player, no, it is, here's a disparity in the call. They're going to give the ball to Detroit. Bird steals it. Johnson, layup, Boston, 1 second left.
Historians have revealed that James Naismith thought segregation and racial barriers were wrong. Many of his beliefs came from his work in World War I when he saw young black soldiers fighting and dying for their country just the same as young white soldiers. During Naismith's entire coaching career at the University of Kansas, he strived to help any student or player, regardless of race or skin color. Dr. Naismith wanted all young people to be educated and felt it was a shame to have any student denied an education. Former Georgetown coach John Thompson once said that he thought basketball had done more to bridge the gap between the races than anything else in society. And the current Kansas head coach Bill Self once said that Naismith would be proud that basketball had helped our culture and our opportunities in so many ways. Modern basketball over the years has influenced its own distinct culture and can be seen in popular music such as hip-hop and rap, and is also present in many forms such as sneakers and apparel. As a result, basketball has created a world culture that brings millions of people worldwide together every day. The leadership of Dr. Naismith cannot be disputed, but of equal significance is the legacy that he left behind.
The game itself. But what he wanted young men to be able to do was to be able to go in and play a game by the rules, the right way, and to be able to do that together.
The Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts is named in James Naismith's honor, and he was the inaugural inductee in 1959. The NCAA rewards its best players and coaches annually with the Naismith Awards. Among them, the Naismith College Player of the Year, the Naismith College Coach of the Year, and the Naismith Prep Player of the Year. Basketball today is played by more than 300 million people worldwide, making it one of the most popular team sports. In North America, basketball has produced some of the most admired athletes of the 20th century. In his own words, James Naismith said, "Finally, I decided that the only real satisfaction that I would ever derive from life was to help my fellow beings." James Naismith, father of basketball, inventor of basketball, leader both on and off the court, his legacy lives on.